Deficiencies in vitamins, minerals can cause hair loss. And here's a picture of me when I was having this kind of problem myself. And you can see how severe my hair loss became during that time. And here is my pictures of recovery when I was able to solve the problem. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about micronutrients. I will talk about deficiencies and what you need to be aware of in terms of addressing this problem. And I will share my personal experience and also will give you suggestions what you can do to avoid this kind of problem ever again. And for you guys who are new to the channel, my name is Alex and I'm previously hair loss sufferer who was able to regrow back my own hair. And I'm also certified trichologist. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about micronutrients and nutritional deficiencies. And the thing with micronutrients is that there are important vitamins, minerals that you have to be sure that you're getting on a regular basis. And those will basically be vitamins such as B12, folate, and also vitamin D. And in terms of minerals, for example, iron, ferritin, zinc, magnesium, those are also important, right? And of course, there are other micronutrients as well that are important, but those ones are most important for the hair itself. And what happens is that if, for example, one has just a slightly deficiency in them, then there would likely be more shedding, for example. The hair itself won't be looking healthy, they will grow slower, and there may be some cosmetical changes or problems to the hair itself, like they will just not look as good as it should be. But if there is severe deficiencies like I was having, then the hair can start to fall out in a strange pattern like I had, for example, on my sides back in when I was having this problem myself. And at that time I was around 17 to 19 years old. And what happened is that I was still young, and because I was still young I was able to recover quite quickly from the problem when I had solved the issue, right? So basically I addressed my diet, I addressed my micronutrients, and I was able to recover my hair. And I just made sure that I wouldn't get that kind of problem again. And it was before I had a androgenetic alopecia. And in my case, what was the problem is that I was having a vitamin D deficiency. And that vitamin D deficiency was going on for around 1.5 to 2 years. But luckily for me, as I said, it happened when I was very young. If, for example, I would have been older, then likely that recovery would be much harder to achieve. And I would likely need to use a growth stimulant to be able to reactivate the follicles. But in my case, it happened early in my life and I was able to have a nice recovery. And also what is important to remember is that, for example, if one is having a deficiency in, for example, vitamin D, it can affect DHT sensitivity. And I have spoken about it in previous videos, so you can check it up as well. But it is a problem, right? And that's likely is one of the reasons why my androgenetic alopecia I was having kicked in much earlier compared to, for example, other family members in my family, right? I basically started to lose my hair because of androgenetic alopecia much earlier, and I had to start address this problem much earlier because likely I had already weakened follicles because of vitamin D deficiencies and other issues I was having in terms of diet in my younger life, and I just didn't know how it was connected back then. And when it comes to, for example, micronutrients, right, like it is important that you are addressing the diet and also addressing your supplementation, right? So for example, if you are having a nutritional deficiency, let's say in, for example, vitamin D that is often occurring, so you want to be sure that you supplement with vitamin D, that you address your diet, and you also are getting, for example, a lot of sunlight, right? So this is an important way to address it, right? You just don't want to rely on supplementation, because you also want to address your diet and also get the sunlight, because it will basically give you more boost of vitamin D, and also making sure that there is different pathways you're getting it. And if you are not having, for example, issues in terms of receptors of vitamin D, or, for example, other underlying conditions that could be affecting its absorption, for example, which you need to check up with your doctor, then addressing it from diet is possible, right? And for example, what you need to do is that, first of all, if you are having vitamin D deficiency, you have to take a supplementation likely by a prescription from your doctor. But later on, to make sure that you don't have deficiency again, what you want to do is basically you need to restructure your diet, right? So basically you want to add foods that are high in vitamin D, and those would basically be, for example, eggs, it would be, for example, fish, seafood, for example, and it also will be, for example, mushrooms, right? So basically by doing so, you are able to get more vitamin D, and additionally getting it from sunlight, for example, will help you to address this problem. And in terms of avoiding getting any deficiencies at all, right? So basically in terms of diet, what you can do is that you can use tools that are available, like apps, online apps such as FitnessPal, Chronometer, like they are awesome tools to address making sure that you don't have any deficiencies in the future, right? So basically what happens is that you can enter your diet and it will break it down in micronutrients, and it will show basically how much micronutrients you are getting from the diet, and by doing so you can avoid basically having deficiencies. And this will work again for someone who doesn't have other type of conditions, for example, that can be causing or aggravating the problem and affect its, for example, absorption of micronutrients. So, for example, if there is digestive issues, if there is gut issues, if there is, for example, underlying conditions in terms of toxicity, for example, those things can also affect micronutrient absorption and cause one has deficiency. And in that case, it is more important that one address and work on this problem from addressing those underlying problems, right? So because if one just tries to increase supplementation of vitamins, minerals is not going to be enough, or it won't work long term because you have also underlying problems that you have to work on. So those are things I want to share in today's video for you guys, and practical tips how to structure your diet, for example, how to address different other parts of the treatment. You can get a whole rapid or formal workbook. There is a link for it below this video, and it has all the essentials you need to recover the hair, and also making sure that you are able to keep the hair for a very long time to come. Here is an example of apps that can be used to structure the diet and understand the diet and micronutrition. And this one here is a chronometer, but you can also use FitnessPal. It has a similar basically setup, but basically what happens here is that one enters the foods, and by entering the foods, one will be able to see micronutrients. So I already have pre-entered the foods. I have entered, for example, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snack. So basically those would be kind of average meals one would likely have on a daily basis. And it shows micronutrients from those foods. And basically if one is having this kind of diet every single day, for example, you can see that there would be a lack of vitamin C, for example, there would be a lack of vitamin D, and those would be a problem, right? And you can also see that it could be high in sodium, for example, which can also be a problem, and it will lack fiber, for example, right? So basically by using this kind of tool, it can be very helpful to understand the diet. And when I was dealing with those problems myself, there was no tool like this back then. So I had to use almost half the day every single Sunday week prior to structure my diet for the upcoming week. And it did take a lot of effort, some time and energy to do it. But this kind of app makes it much more simple. And if you need additional support or guidance, you can also schedule a call with me below this video. There's a link for it. And we can talk and speak and find out what is holding you back and what you can do right now to solve your hair loss problem once and for all. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and see you next one. Cheers.